What is up, party people? Welcome back to the channel. I am Nicole with SewGnar Sewing Patterns, and we are on day 9 of the 2025 12 Days of Christmas Sewing video series, tutorial, DIY. What other words could I insert there? And in today's video, we are going to take our favorite dusty, crusty, old yuck pillow and make her a new dress. If you are not like the rest of us and you don't have old pillows that you've been rocking on the couch for, I don't know, 10, 12 years or so, then you can buy any size pillow insert and it will work perfectly for this tutorial as well. So there's a couple sections to this tutorial, and in the first part, I'm going to show you how to measure and cut for any size square pillow. And the very specific type of pillow cover that we're making does not have any hardware or anything extraneous. We're just using cotton front and cotton back, and we're going to make what's called an envelope, tomato, pillow cover. So we're going to overlap the two pieces on the back to create the closure itself. So as previously stated, you can use any size square pillow for the first portion. You're just going to use the measurements that you need, and I will go over all of that in the tutorial. So listen up, folks. You can do any sort of finishing technique that you want on the inside, like a standard. You can zigzag, you can overlock, you can serge, you can leave it totally raw. It's up to you. You don't have to do anything to finish it. I don't think it's going to get a whole lot of action in there anyhow. But in the second half of the video, I am not only going to show you how to make a pattern for a round pillow, but I'm also going to show you how to do French seams. So Nicole, what is a French seam? Let me tell you. So doing French seams is a sewing method that uses a double stitch to create an encased seam on both the interior and the exterior of your project. So once we get to that portion of the video, I will go over the specifics on how to do the French seam, but it is so easy and you can incorporate it on almost any other project that you want to. All right, y'all know the drill. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, join, you know, bada bing, bada boom, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, you know, all of the things. I truly, really, sincerely appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for following along. I hope that this series is providing just a little bit of a springboard of inspiration for you, and I can't wait to hear what you guys are making. Come join us over in the Facebook group and come share all of your makes. We all love to see it. And as always, I'll see you at the end of the video. First thing you need to do in this is figure out which pillow it is that you want to make a cover for. In my case, I'm using this older couch pillow that we've had for years. And what you do is you just measure the height and the width of it. So you can do a square pillow, rectangular, round, you can do whatever shape pillow you want to. So mine is 19 by 19. And so what I've done is I cut out my pieces and I added 1 inch. So I did 20 inches wide by 20 inches tall. And this is my front panel. And then for my back panel, I found this coordinating blue. It matches my sparrows perfectly. But so since it was 20 by 20, what I did is I cut that in half, so 10 by 20. But then to create the overlap section, I added 3 inches. So you're going to take your width measurement, in my case it's 20. You're going to divide that in half, which makes it 10, and then you add 3, so 13. So I have 2 panels that are 20 inches tall by 13 inches wide. So if you wanted to do any sort of customization on your pillowcase front, you can go ahead and do that now. That would be any sort of applique, reverse applique, quilting, what have you. If you're going to leave it plain like I am, you can move the cover, the front panel to the side, and we're going to do some work on our 2 back panels. So we need to create a fold and encase this raw edge. So I'm just going to fold it over roughly 1/2 inch and then another 1/2 inch and iron this well. All right, now that I have both of these ironed, I'm going to go to the machine. I'm going to stitch down this inner edge here using 1/8 seam allowance on both panels. I am using Tex 70 thread from Waywack, and because I'm sewing with all cotton and it's uninterfaced, I lowered my needle size to size 14 and I will be using a size 4 stitch length. All right, I have both of my seams stitched up and ready to go. And now what we're going to do is just simply overlap one over the other. And then you lay your top piece right on top. And it might be a little bit easier to work with the top piece right side down. And then you can really get your placement here. So you're just going to line up your edges using your top piece as your guide. Now, if you have a woven label that you want to put somewhere, you can certainly do that. One option is you can attach it into the stitch line here so that when you're inserting the pillow, that's when you see it. Alternatively, you can slide it into one of your side edges here. Now, my pillow is directional, so I'm being sure to put it in a spot where it'll be near the bottom, but you can really put it on any seam that you want to. I'm just going to slide it right there, sandwich it in between the two layers, and add a clip so that I don't forget. And just clip all the way around. All right, once you get it clipped, we're just going to go to the machine and simply stitch all the way around the entire perimeter. I am going to be doing some extra back stitching over these areas where my two overlaps intersect, so that way whenever I'm putting the pillow in and out of the case, I don't risk popping those stitches. All right, I am all stitched up. And now to finish the inside, you have a couple different options. You can use pinking shears, you can use a zigzag or overlock stitch, or you can use a serger to finish this off so that it doesn't fray whenever you wash the pillow cover. All right, all stitched up and ready to go. So next, just need to add our pillow. So I think you guys can figure out how to do that, right? I mean, can you get any cuter than that? Well, I doubt it. Now let's say you want to cover an odd shaped pillow, in this case, this round one. Now it seems pretty straightforward, but I'm gonna show you how, if I wanted to make a pattern, how I would do that. So you need to get a rough measurement of what the shape is. And so in my case, this entire ruler takes up the entire height of the circle. So that is 15 inches. So what I would do is tape a couple pieces of paper together to give myself some pattern making supplies. And then I know that we are the entire width or the entire height of this ruler. So I'm just going to mark the height of this ruler, but you, in your case, you would mark the entire height of whatever it is that you're trying to cover. So mine is 15. So I also am going to show you how to do French seams on this one. So we need to take a couple other considerations in as we're making this pattern. We need to take in seam allowances, then we need to double that because we're going to do a French seam. So my seam allowance is a 1/4 inch, but I want a little bit of wiggle room. Bump it to 3/8. Then I need an additional 3/8, 1, 2, 3/8. And then just for good measure, I'm going to toss it an extra 1/4 inch, just so that way I know 100% that this will fit. And in the off chance that it doesn't, I can take it in, which is a lot easier than trying to add a band to expand it. So I need to do 1, 2, 3/8, 4, 5, 6/8, and then an additional 1/4 inch just for good measure. So I added an additional inch onto that measurement. I'm going to do the same thing down here. So now I have my height figured out. And what I need to do is I need to create a circle. So Since this is 15 inches, I know that half of the circle is going to be 7.5 inches. So I will mark that here. So 7.5. And then I want the additional inch just like before, which just so happens to be perfect for this 8.5 by 11. How about them apples? So now what I'll do is I'll fold this in half. And then I need to connect all of my measurements. So I need to bring this measurement all the way up and over to here. Now, because I'm making this out of cottons, I will have a little bit of forgiveness with my shape. So I don't need to be super duper particular, but whichever means that you have in your arsenal, you need to connect this dot up here to this dot over here. I am just going to outline it. All right, after you create your pattern piece, whenever you cut out your fabric, you're just going to use this and cut it on the fold or flip it to create one full piece. However, for the back, the same way that we created the square pillow, we want to create an overlap. So when we're cutting out our two back pieces, we're going to add an additional 3 inches to this straight edge here. So round pillow cover, cut 1 on fold, and then cut 2 halves plus 3 inches. Let's get our pieces cut out. I've had this in my stash forever. I just made a set of curtains for our back door out of it, so I think it would make a nice pillow cover. Everything in the house match. Perfect. Okay, so to get my 3-inch additional cut line, I'm just going to leave my pattern piece in place and then take a long ruler and line it up 3 inches on the edge of my pattern piece. Like so, and then cut. And then these are the 2 pieces for my back, for the back of my pillow cover. And then now I need to cut out the front. So to get this to cut on the fold, what I've done is I've folded my fabric, and I'm going to get it as close as possible to the fold line here so that I don't waste any fabric that I don't need to. So that was pretty good. You can see the edge of my pattern piece right here. And now I'm just going to trim around this piece. So now what I want to do is I just want to do a quick iron, and I want to get some of these wrinkles out, especially in the front panel. And then for the back panel, we're going to do exactly what we did for the square pillow cover. And we are going to, on the straight edge here, fold up and over to encase that raw edge and get a nice press line here. Okay, once you get your edges folded under and pressed, we are going to go stitch them down just like we did on our square pillow cover. And again, I am going to use a 1/8 seam allowance on this inside fold over here. All right, friends, we are ready for stitching the panels all together. You might have caught it, but I remembered to put my tag in on this seam here. I think that's going to be a cool placement. So now we are going to do what is called French seams. And if you have never heard of this, essentially it's going to be a process where we stitch our panels wrong sides together. So as if the piece is done, we're going to stitch them wrong sides together, and then we flip, and then we add another stitch, and that stitch line is going to encase the first stitch line. So then when we flip the panels back to right side out, the interior is going to be nice and finished on the inside, encased inside of that second stitch line that we made. If that sounds like gobbledygook, that's fine. I will walk you through the process. So something I didn't really consider when I started this tutorial is that my fabric is essentially right side out every which way that you put it. There is no real wrong side. So I need you to imagine that there is a wrong side. So with the right side out, You're going to lay the right side down on your workstation, and then you're going to lay your panels right side up. Now, I know that these are right side up because my nice enclosed stitch line is here, and you want the fold to be on the inside of your piece. And then this one goes right on top, just like so. And essentially, this is the layout that your pillow cover is going to have when it is totally completed. So I want to check, I want my tag to be on the outermost fold. So I'm just going to flip these guys like this. And then I'm going to take extra care to line up all of my sides and clip all the way around, just like we did on the square pillow cover. All right, once everything is nice and lined up, clip or pin all the way around. All right, now that we are clipped all the way around, we are just going to go and stitch, and I will be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to pay extra careful attention to back stitch a few times over my seams where everything is crossing each other. All right, pals, we are all stitched up. So I'm going to trim my seam allowance down just to make sure everything is nice and even and to trim off any little discrepancies that I have from stitching. Once you're all trimmed, we're going to flip it right side or wrong side out. Again, it's a little misleading because mine's double-sided, so it's a little weird, but we're going to flip it wrong side out. And again, I know that it's wrong side out because here is the interior of my stitch line from the back panel. And you want to take special care to make sure that your seams are pushed out correctly. If you have a chopstick, you can use that here, but you want to go around and push all your seams out, and we're going to press this really well. Once your edges are nice and pressed, what we're going to do is go back to the machine. We're going to stitch around the perimeter circle again using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I am once again going to back stitch over all of these join areas. Okay, I'm all top stitched once again, and so now we are going to flip back right side out and then insert our pillow. I'm just going to push on that second seam that I just made. And what should happen is you should have caught that entire first stitch line in that second seam so that you have a nice finished edge here. And then whenever you peek inside your pillowcase, you have a nice finished edge here as well. There will not be any fraying or any sort of pilling or anything like that. There shouldn't be any wear that shows at all with this method. Check it out. It looks so good. I think it just needs to be worked in a little bit better. Get this seam line to sit correctly. Right now it's pulling to the back of the pillow over here. Oh my goodness, how freaking cute is that? And then let's see. Oh, here's my tag right there. I really like that placement. I think that's quite nice. It's out of the way, and so when you're using the pillow, it's not going to bother you, but it is just right there to remind everybody. Cute. So Druzy and I wanted to thank you for joining us. I get lots of comments about her, and so I think it sounds like I'm saying Jersey as in New Jersey, but I want to clarify her name is Druzy, D-R-U-Z-Y, and that is a specific type of gray quartz stone. And so I named her that because she's a shiny gray kitty. And her nickname is Stinks because of this look on her face. She looks like she's always smelling something stinky. I'm sure you've picked up on it by now, but she is my absolute shadow. I love her so, so much. And she is the most unhelpful studio assistant ever. All right, thanks for joining us today, guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for day 10.